Hi. Good evening. Lovely night. Apologies for staying. You just remind me of someone. Someone I once knew. Is something the matter? Were you frightened of something? No need to be scared. I'm the scariest thing in these woods. Unless you go past the cemetery on Old Woods Road. A little humor. Forgive me. Where are my manners? I am Beatra. Beatra Nix. Or Lady Nix, if you prefer. Yes, Nix. N-Y-X. Like the Greek goddess of the night. And you are? Pleasure to make your acquaintance. What are you doing running in these woods at an hour such as this? You were hiking and lost track of time. Well, that's an easy mistake. I myself have lost all sense of time while walking in these woods. It sometimes feels as if time himself does not dare to enter these woods. If I may provide my assistance, of course. If you have lost your way, all you have to do is go right down the hill. You'll find the road back into town at the bottom. Do be careful. You never know what lurks in some woods at night. Have a pleasant evening. Pardon? Forgive me, but no. I am not going into town. Just on a nightly stroll is all. I am not far from home at all. I live in the manor, actually. Abandoned? Oh, gods, no. It is very much occupied, and somewhat alive. A little dusty and weathered, but, oh no, not at all abandoned. If you want, I could show you. Oh, it wouldn't be a problem at all. I get so few guests nowadays. It'll be quite a treat. Walk with me? It's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's such a lovely night after all. Not to worry. My lantern here might seem old, but it lights my path very well. Plus, I'm sure nothing would bother us if we walked together. I have lived in these woods all my life. I know the way, even in the dark. I will guide you, and you shall accompany me. Shall we? Let me welcome you to Dark Hill Mannor. Lovely, isn't it? Every time you enter through these doors, it feels as if you're stepping back in time. Oh my, I guess we are in luck. Just before a storm made its way here. What do you think of the manor? Incredible. Yes, indeed. A great amount of pride and love went into the building of this manor. The woodworkings and carvings, the attention to detail is everywhere. If you look closely enough at almost anything, you will find that there is more and more detail. More than you can possibly imagine. Do you play chess? How about a cup of tea? Would you care to join me in the parlor for a quick game? Always found that it's stimulating to play a game while talking. And I always enjoy a cup of tea after a nightly stroll. I have found, whether dead or alive, a warm cup of tea finds a way to solve most problems. I can even order something for us to snack on while dinner is being made. That is, if you care to join me. I would not have invited you to join me if there was a problem. I cannot force you to do anything, but I can only ask and wait to see if you will join me. My pleasure. I like to make my guests feel comfortable. It's just how I was raised. Shall we? Did I grow up here? Do you mean in this manor? No, I did not. This was my father's manor. I was born here, yes. However, I only came to spend summers here with him when my mother would allow it. My parents were able to get along for my sake for a little while, but they did have very different interests, and each other, turns out, was not one of them. Don't be sorry. They are their own person, and the last time I saw my mother, she seemed quite content with her life. But who am I to judge someone on how they live their life? My father? My father passed away many years ago. Reasons why I have chosen to live here. For the little time that I did spend here as a child, it has always felt more at home than I have ever had anywhere else. And I have done my fair share of travel. Oh, indeed. Many lovely places. Do not misunderstand me. Traveling is quite exhilarating. And the stories I can tell, they will last for many, many a night and so on. But even in the excitement of it all, it is nice to come back to a place where you feel most complete and utterly content. Home. And I have always found it here in this manor. Even if it hides a few dark tales in its woodworkings. Like what? Is it possible you don't know the story of Dark Hill Mannor? Well, by the gods, they have created a perfect night for such tale. As I mentioned, this was my father's manor, but it has been in my family for generations. My great-grandmother had this manor made, and at the time, a woman in charge of a project of this scale was unheard of. However, when you hold the checkbook, you can be surprised on what power you wield. She had the manor made for her and her love, the love of her life, so they could have a future together, away from society that might have judged them, only because they were from different worlds. This manor held so much potential for hope, laughter, and above all, a family. They were so deeply in love that they tried everything to be with one another. Thousands of letters to one another. They wanted to run away together, but my grandmother also wanted to make a home for them. So she had the manor commissioned behind her father's back. She told every worker to show her what their finest skills were, from the stonemason to the carpenters, down to the blacksmith who made the silver. She wanted them to display their best craftsmanship, their best work. They saw it as a challenge, and they did not disappoint. However, when the manor was nearly finished, she was set into an arranged marriage by her father. Outraged, she wrote to her love so they could begin their life together. They did come for her, but only to tell her that they shouldn't be together anymore. They were going overseas and that she should marry who her father intended. Sadly, it gets worse after that. Heartbroken, she did marry, only into a loveless marriage, where, on their wedding night, something changed in her, and not for the better. Several years passed and her husband died. How is unknown, but she did make her way back to here, where she named it Dark Hill Mannor. I read her diary once. She mentioned how she longed for her beloved to come back to her, hoping seeing them again would bring happiness back into her heart. No, they did not come for her. She spent her remaining days trying not to think about them, to not think of the pain. But to love someone so much like that, it's hard to imagine for some people, I suppose. I've always found that if you truly love someone so much that they never leave you. Oh my, look at the time. And it's getting rather late. Oh, and the storm seems to have gotten worse. It might be dangerous to venture outside now. You are welcome to spend the night here in the manor. I'm afraid there is no other way.
She's tried. To Mommy, I do.